Welcome to Titan HST's Business Continuity Today, hosted by Todd, where planning meets reality.
Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are at. And this is a lovely, lovely spring day here in Southern California, and I'm excited to be here. My name is Todd, and I am the Director of Emergency Management for Titan HST. And I also teach at the post-secondary level, and learning and sharing what I've learned is a passion for me, and this is what we're doing here today. And with business continuity, one of the things that we need to be doing is looking at what's going on in the world and how it's going to impact, business. And the other day, I read this article. Actually, believe it or not, it was in Wired magazine, and it was talking about the fact that Lake Mead and Lake Powell, both of those, are at historic lows. And with Lake Mead specifically, if you guys don't know Lake Mead in Nevada, it's the Hoover Dam, right? You guys might have seen that on TV or so, and it creates power. And the lake is so low that there might be issues with creating power. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that parts of California and Nevada, for that matter, may have a reduction in power. So we already have in California these things called brownouts, rolling brownouts, which is during high production days, during the summertime, during high heat. They purposely reduce the power load to your homes and to businesses. And with that, you can sign up, through your power company to actually at a discount to where you're not going to run air conditioning in your building. You only run half the lights, all sorts of different ways you can do to reduce the power load on the system. And we get these things called flex alerts, and all these type of things happen here. If you're in manufacturing, what does that mean to your production level, right? Does that mean that now you have to be planning for certain parts of the day where you won't be able to produce, or do you change your production stream from midday to nighttime? And then if we're having that switch and Mead can't create Hoover Dam can't create the power, how does that impact your business and what you're doing, right? So what do you do? Now, producer Brian and I had this long conversation regarding solar power and batteries, and maybe you can move to that. But even that technology right now isn't to the place where it can be to really help with, say, production, like manufacturing. There are other issues associated with the solar power at this point that we have to work through before we can get to that. I am a proponent of solar for many different reasons. However, even with my own home, it doesn't make sense to me to have solar on my house at this point, because the batteries that are there for me, this is my choice, are super expensive. And yes, you can put solar power panels on your home to reduce your bill, right? Your electrical bill, but the lease that you have to do, or the purchase of the panels, doing the math, you don't make money back on the other side. So it's not really a cost savings for you, although you are giving back, if you will, to the power grid during peak performance. So the California Edison, I don't know if PG&E has done this or not, but they have changed what they mean by their peak power day part of the days. It used to be after 5 o'clock or something like that, it went down. Now they've moved that along into the evening. There's many different reasons for that occurring, but I find that interesting that they've moved that goalpost again down the line. Again, what does this mean specifically for business continuity? Well, at the end of the day, this means that we really have to be looking at our power consumption, right? What can we do at our offices, at our facilities to reduce that power consumption, right? And then, is there a way that you can store the power that or store energy, which is difficult, right? Long conversation on that one, scientifically speaking, that you can use into the future. You know, I was looking at this process, which I thought was very interesting, that not only just with solar, but also with wind generation power, with these small turbines, probably about the size of that behind me. That's why I have it there. And the idea here is that that will spin as the wind blows, and it'll create again enough power to charge a battery, if you will, and then you run on batteries. So just to kind of give the basic way, from my understanding, if you're a solar power person and really have a better understanding of it, is that as the power is generated, it goes into basically just charging your batteries, and then you run off your batteries to make the house work. The reason why I bring the battery portion up again is because depending on how big your home is, it depends on how many batteries or how the size of the battery bank, and that's where it gets expensive. That's where it kind of overwhelms the pocketbook, if you will. So being able to run a factory off of solar power, off the batteries, you need to have basically a building, from what I understand, a building just full of batteries to be able to run another building. And so again, the land mass and land use, and the ability to have power storage and stored in those batteries becomes a critical point of the system. So, what is the answer? That's a good question, right? We're going to be talking to some climate people here shortly regarding what does this mean? How do we fix it? Can we fix it? Right? On the other side of that, of with the lake, not just the power side, we're also having in Southern California, in California in general, a drought, and we're having other water issues associated with drinking water and use for irrigation, right? So conversations will come down the pipeline here, but in general, you know, we are having a really severe weather impacting what we're doing on a daily basis, all the way now down to running air conditioning in your office, right? And being able to be comfortable in that workspace. I know that we are now dispersing people from workspaces into homes, right? Working from home. And COVID, kind of pushed that along the line, and you're seeing more and more businesses that are making that decision to have a less centralized workforce. Now, that's a good thing in one aspect of it, right? But now on the other side of it, the stresses that are happening on the electrical system due to that, because now you have, instead of just one place where you're pulling power from, you have, say, 200 places that are now utilizing power. So that's putting stress on the power grid as well. So what do you do? What is your plan for a power reduction, right? Do you have one written down? Or do you have a plan specifically for power outages? Do you have that written down? Are you looking at how do you keep your office running during these brownouts or blackouts that may occur due to the reduction in power generation, right? So those are some of the questions that you have to ask your organization. If you are at the top, if you're in the C-suite, give the direction to your team to create a power reduction and power outage annex for your emergency plan if you do not have one already, and really sit down and tabletop that and discuss what could you do without power. Now, obviously, if you're an ice cream shop, you're going to want to have a lot of additional dry ice floating around, right? So decisions like that are pretty easy. But if you are, I don't know, like a claims processing center for an insurance company, what do you do if you can't get online due to power outage? How long do your battery backups last on your laptops or on your computers, on your desktops? Do they last long enough for you to keep your internet running so you can keep operating your business? Those are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself as you're going forward. What are the key functions of the business? What can you prepare to lose during that time? How long is downtime going to impact you? And what are your backup plans? Do you buy a generator, whether it's whether it's gas or solar? Do you buy generators for your office? And what's that generator load look like on your building? Can every plug be utilized, or do you have to have special plugs that occur specific, or special areas that occur that for your power? So those are the questions that you need to kind of just really explore when you're looking at planning for a power reduction. Now, this is not a out of the box crazy guy talking, about being prepared for the EMP coming from Mars or something along those lines, right? What this is proof we have this issue, right? They have said, the power generation station has said that they have a reduction in power that they can produce. This actually impacts what you're doing. We know we have flex alerts here in Southern California, and I'm sure this might be the same way in other areas that are impacted by power shortage, like Texas and whatnot, right? With those issues that are going on, right? What is your plan for those problems? Always be leaning forward. Always be thinking out of the box. Where you fail is with the failure of imagination when it comes to making your plan, and when it comes to making your exercises, and it comes to making your training. And don't forget, there are no businesses that are above approach when it comes to preparing for disasters. I had somebody tell me one time that a business was uh, too special, for lack of a better term, to have a disaster preparedness drill. Think about that. Hope you don't work for that company, because that would be a terrible place to be if your CEO thinks that they're too good to have disaster drills. Be more like Morgan Stanley, right? Disaster drills save lives. Prepare, respond, and recover, and take care. And everybody, thank you so much for being here with me today on Business Continuity Today. And until next time, stay safe, stay hydrated. Oh yeah, don't forget, Titan HT for all your communication needs. Take care, everybody.